Hi friends, today I'm sharing how to make a simple and nourishing lemon balm salve using natural ingredients right from your herbal cabinet. This gentle salve is wonderful for dry skin, minor cuts, insect bites, and even cold sores caused by the herpes simplex virus. For more detailed information and this written recipe, see the post in the description box below. So we're starting with dried lemon balm, also known as Melissa officinalis. I always prefer to use dried herbs for infused oils because there's less moisture, which helps prevent spoilage. If you're using fresh, try and let it dry out or wilt for a day or so before putting it into the oil. So you're going to place your lemon balm into a clean pint jar about 1/3 to a halfway full mark, and you're going to completely cover it with the carrier oil of choice. Today I am using my organic olive oil. Avocado oil would also be good. You can even use coconut oil. Sky's the limits. Just make sure that all the leaves are fully submerged. I like to mix it and then give it a little shake to make sure. I'm setting up my double boiler by putting a cloth at the bottom of a pot, and then I'm just submerging my mason jar into it, and I will be turning this on low heat for about 6 to 8 hours minimum. Generally 12 plus is ideal. You can also do this in a slower method by just letting this sit on its own for 4 to 6 weeks before straining it out. When it's time to strain your oil, if you're using this method, you're going to want to make sure to dry it off before you strain it. And also, I had turned the heat off a couple hours earlier and let it cool. If you do not do that, if you're using it hot, definitely make sure to use some oven mitts or something to protect your hands. I am straining this through a cheesecloth and a mesh strainer. The less particulates or plant matter that you have in your salve, the longer the salve is going to stay usable for you. So I highly recommend doing it this way. If all you have is the mesh strainer or just a cheesecloth or a nut bag, use what you have. It will be fine. I'm choosing to go ahead and squeeze this out with my bare hands so I can also have the oils all over my hands. It's a nice feeling. If I was making this for selling purposes or anybody else, I would be wearing gloves. This is just a tutorial. I will be keeping this for myself. You can compost these herbs in the cheesecloth or in your strainer when you are done. Sometimes the chickens like it. It's a nice little treat for them. Next, you're going to measure out 1 ounce of the beeswax pellets, and then you're going to add in your 1 cup of herbal infused oil. And this is your general basic guideline for kind of any salve. It's always 1 cup of the herbal infused oil to about 1 ounce or so of the beeswax, depending upon how thick you want your salve to be. This one is pretty much, it's right there on the perfect side for me. It's not too hard, not too soft to where it's watery, but that is your basic recipe for any kind of salve that you're doing. So you're going to gently melt them together over low heat again in your double boiler or the glass bowl if you're making it that way. And you're going to kind of stir it off and on until it's fully combined. I have found that when you stir it off and on, it does help it melt and mix together a lot faster. And this double boiler that I have is like a godsend. It makes things melt so much faster because the heat from the stainless steel works wonders. I love this thing. And I like my heat plate too. You'll hear me say that on a lot of my videos because it's nice not to have to worry about my stove. That gets used for food quite a bit. Beeswax can take a little bit of time to melt, obviously. So once you take this off of the heat, make sure you put it onto a towel. And again, you're going to wipe the bottom from the steam from the double boiler, whether it's whatever you've used. You want to make sure that the water is off again because you're going to be pouring from this container and you don't want any water to spoil this salve that you're working so hard to make. At this point, you can add any essential oil you'd like. I am not using any for this tutorial purpose, but you could be adding 10 to 15 drops of lavender essential oil or tea tree oil, anything that you feel would complement what your purpose is for this salve. Once you've added any essential oils, if you're doing that, you want to make sure to mix thoroughly, and then you're going to carefully pour the warm salve into small tins or glass jars. These are just different plastic containers and tins that I have, and you're going to let them cool completely at room temperature before putting the lids on. You do not want any condensation to form and, again, potentially spoil this salve that you've worked so hard for. And that's it. Your homemade lemon balm salve is ready to use. Apply a small amount to the affected area as needed. It's gentle enough to use as a lip balm and even safe to apply just inside the mouth for cold sores. Make sure that you've used the appropriate ingredients for that, such as the right kinds of essential oils. And you're going to store your salve in a cool, dark place for the longest shelf life. Make sure to check out my free herbal recipe ebook below, and make sure to grab it to add more items to your home apothecary. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this helpful, be sure to follow along for more herbal recipes and natural remedies.